I just wanted to say congrats on young Sherlock. This show is so much fun. Can you tell me a bit about what drew you to this role?
What didn't draw me to this role? Thank you for your kind words, first of all. Uh, Sherlock is one of my favourite characters of all time. I cannot remember a time in my life where I didn't know who he was. My dad introduced me to him at such a young age. And when I first started acting, when I was discussing who my favourite directors were, Guy Ritchie was right at the top of my list. So to not to have both the character Sherlock and the director Guy Ritchie together, honestly, I don't know how to top this.
That kind of leads into my next question. As you mentioned, there's been so many like iconic iterations of Sherlock over the years. Did you have any favorites, like looking back at past iterations, and did you draw in any inspiration from any of them?
Definitely. When I close my eyes and picture Sherlock, for me, it's Benedict Cumberbatch. I just think he just did such an incredible job. I've seen that series 3 times over. The first iteration I would have seen, I think, on screen would have been Robert Downey Jr. with Guy Ritchie. So they're the main two portrayals of the character that I would have seen. But once I got the offer for the role, I feel like I digested so much of the character, and they're such different portrayals, that I felt like I had a really well-rounded understanding. That and my dad telling me about, Conan Doyle's works and probably reading me the stories as a kid. I felt like I had such a well-rounded idea of who I wanted the character to be. And obviously we're telling the story of young Sherlock. I thought it was really important to bring some originality to this. So it was more of a challenge to refrain from watching them again because I love them so much. And just, yeah, my preparation was kind of more directly from the script because I've digested so much of those portrayals over the years.
Mhm. And an iconic duo is obviously Sherlock and Moriarty.
The fundamental fault of man is to think the enemy is external, not internal. Prison is in here, not out there.
Hark at you with your art of war. James Moriarty.
Sherlock Holmes.
Can you share for our viewers a bit about what that iteration is going to look like in young Sherlock?
Yeah, so Sherlock always has Dr. Watson as his counterpart in the works of Conan Doyle. So when we're telling the story of young Sherlock, Conan Doyle's works start with Watson meeting Sherlock. So obviously that's not going to be the case when he's young. And when I first flicked through the first script and saw that Sherlock and Moriarty were going to be friends, my gut reaction is that this must be a typo. This can't be correct because they're enemies. But it doesn't take you long, and I can speak for fans of Sherlock. They are going to love exploring the relationship between Sherlock and Moriarty. And I think you really believe that they would be friends because they're such exceptional people, even in Oxford. They just feel like a cut above everyone else intellectually, and in their own different ways, they're kind of like outsiders. And Sherlock's mum even mentions that he never had many friends. So you appreciate the value that they bring each other. They also kind of, I guess, Sherlock introduces Moriarty to his mind palace, and I think that's something that Moriarty doesn't really, he's involved in, but doesn't really have that ability himself. But there are loads of abilities, like Moriarty actually first teaches Sherlock about is the first person to use the word deduction, and Sherlock definitely can't defend himself very well in the time where we meet him, but Moriarty can. So they make such a great team, and kind of make up for the other where the other one lacks. But I also think once you go back to the idea of them being enemies, it really enriches and adds currency and value to their rivalry, having the understanding that they were once friends, and the fact that Sherlock never shares that with Watson, but keeps to himself the fact that they were once friends. It's just, yeah, I think Matthew Parker is a genius for making this our story. I think people are going to love watching Sherlock and Moriarty as friends.
No. For sure. I feel like it's such like an interesting backstory that a lot of fans we haven't been able to see over the years. So I think that's like very, very interesting. Obviously, also the cast of this is so great. Can you share a bit about what it was like getting to work with Colin Firth on this?
Yeah, the only problem with working with Colin Firth is that I didn't get to do it enough.
I present to you my Hodge scholars. Take a good look. These students will be generals, prime ministers, leaders who will guide our world into the 20th century. Enjoy learning, Enjoy your youth. Welcome.
I mean, he's just such an incredible British talent, and he's such a lovely person as well. The only other bad thing about him is that he's an Arsenal fan. He supports a football team that I like to hate. But no, he's I'm sure he obviously puts in a lot of effort, but it feels effortless the way that he delivers the lines and is just so playful with everything he does. And I think he's really well suited to this character. People are going to love watching him, and I loved working with him.
Definitely. Now, fans of yours, they've been obsessed with you for years. They loved you in the After series. Looking back, do you have any favorite memories from being a part of that franchise?
Yeah, favorite memories. I just feel like
Any standout ones?
Yeah, I just feel like in a more general sense, I always like kind of repeat this phrase with the same wording, just being eternally grateful. I'll never forget. No matter how many roles I do, that will always be my first like leading role, my first biggest role. And I just have so much appreciation for everyone involved, Josephine Langford, Anna Todd. It really allowed me to develop my acting skills, and even like on press tours like this, it was just the time where I guess I learned everything about this craft, or where I learned the most out of any project I've done. And the After fans are just so supportive. Every project I do, I can feel them, you know, seeing them in the comments and meeting them in person, and just the support from that fan base is just, I feel kind of almost eternally in debt to them. It's I'm very, very happy and proud and grateful for you know, the opportunity of bringing Hardin Scott to life in the After franchise, and so grateful to the fans and everyone involved.
And speaking of the fans, obviously I have to ask for them, but would you ever in the future be interested in returning as Hardin one day?
As Hardin, well, I mean, yeah, listen, I would love to explore the opportunity. In my mind, if I ever did come back, I wonder if it would be, you know, maybe in a different capacity. I just feel like I might be too old. But listen, I'm sure Anna Todd can whip up something that makes sense. And I would love to just be involved in any capacity down the line. Me and Anna, obviously, yeah, still in touch. And the answer is yes. The answer is yes, very much so.
Well, congrats again on this new series. I feel like Sherlock is like such an amazing role, and I'm so excited for fans to get to see this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words, and as I say, we had a blast doing it, and I'm really proud of what we've all done. So I can't wait for people to see it too.